distinguished guests, welcome to the celebration of Cameroon's National Day at the Embassy of the Republic of Cameroon in the USA. The theme of this 53rd edition is Army and Nation, United for a Cameroon Turned Towards Peace and Prosperity. Please stand for the execution of the National Anthem. Excellences, distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, nous allons à présent suivre l'allocution de son Excellence Monsieur HENRI ETOUNDI ESSOMBA, ambassadeur extraordinaire et plénipotentiaire de la République du Cameroun aux États-Unis d'Amérique.
Bonsoir à tous et bonne fête. Fellow compatriots, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with infinite pleasure that I commune with you today, 20th of May 2025, on the occasion of the commemoration of the 53rd anniversary of our National Day. Since this event is being streamed, I wish to indicate that we are equally communing in spirit with several other Cameroonians, community and friends that have spread across the United States of America. Therefore, permit me to use this rescue in wishing you a bonne fête de l'unité nationale 2025 or a happy National Day 2025. Your massive turnout here today is an eloquent testimony of the importance that you accord to the ethos of our national unity. Generally, National Day is customarily the day on which a country obtained its independence. Nevertheless, it should be underscored that our country, Cameroon, deviates from that general rule since our own National Day, 20th of May, commemorates instead the reunification of once divided people, the Cameroon's people. In fact, our pre-colonial history clearly indicates that even before our forefather became a German protectorate in 1884, our forefathers had called a Christian Cameroonian identity based on our common ancestral bonds and cultural heritage. These affinities were demonstrated throughout our colonial contact with either the British, French, or Germans. However, Cameroonian identity was seriously threatened and undermined when our country was partitioned arbitrarily between Britain and France at the Versailles Treaty 1919. These colonial cleavages were powerful enough to emasculate and eviscerate our identity and make the partition of our country permanent, especially in each of these imperial powers governed by its own share of the territory, independently from the other and instituted highly contrasting administrative style in each of them for well over 43 years. The permanency of the partition of other territories such as Togoland, Tanganyika, and British Somaliland attest to the truth of this claim. Despite the treacherous waves unleashed by these imperial forces, our forefathers braved the odds and successfully resurrected and rekindled the beauty of our Cameroonian identity. When the former colonial entities of French Cameroon and British Cameroon gained independence and reunited to form one country, it took over 40 years of consistent and concerted effort by Cameroonians on both sides of the colonial divide to reunify the country. With this background knowledge, I believe most of you can now grasp the essence of the reunification that we, Cameroonian people, are celebrating today. It is a coronation of the landmark political victory that our forefathers achieved by reuniting the once divided people, and an occasion for us to constantly remind ourselves of the need to uphold and preserve the priceless heritage, which has remained the main sources of our national collective strength. As you may imagine, due to our intricate sociological diversities, the task of building a modern and viable state has been quite complex and daunting, especially had there have been some sporadic outbursts of anger from certain segments of our populace who perceive our sociological diversity and effort to build an inclusive society as an impediment to their existence and prosperity. Some of these reunification dissidents have gone to the extent of even challenging militarily the wisdom of our forefathers and the reunification ethos of the vast majority of Cameroonian peoples. This sporadic challenge to our national unity largely explains why this year's event is being commemorated under the theme, which in French has been titled Armée et Nation, unis pour un Cameroun tourné vers la paix et la prospérité. And in English, Army and Nation, united for the Cameroon turn towards peace and prosperity. The theme is a clarion call for the Army and Cameroonian citizenry to act in synergy in building a peaceful and prosperous country. the message is a gradual call, and the clear message for Cameroonians to understand that despite the current challenges, their sociological diversity is a tangible asset. So, hence, it is a call for them to appropriate and empower themselves through those diversities, which are vital ingredients and tools for national development. Despite these challenges, we, the Cameroonian people, have majestically transformed those diversity into one of the most potent and valuable assets, and succeeded to a large extent in building a modern, viable, and unified country. The progress that we have achieved nationally and internationally are complete proof of the fruits of our unity, and above all, of the further gain that may be achieved if we, the Cameroonians, continue to consolidate and enhance our national unity. Summarily, our national unity is our most cherished asset as a people, since it has enabled ordinary people like us in Cameroonian citizenry to face existential threat together and to achieve impressive results collectively. Several Cameroonians have clearly appropriated and transformed some of these values into a source of strength and wealth. Permit me to highlight just a few. Primarily, thanks to Cameroon's hybrid colonial heritage, it bridged the divide that existed between the English and French-speaking countries. Within the Organization of African Unity, unsurprisingly, Cameroon provided the young organization with two of its most prolific Secretary General, namely Nzo Ikangaki and William Aurélien Etekidou. That record still remains unbroken until today, as no other African country except Cameroon has ever provided the defunct OAU or the AU with two Secretary General successively. Cameroonian translators and interpreters did not only end the domination of the AOAU translation desk by non-Africans, but were the first to stamp Africa's seal on the highly selective, competitive global landscape of translation and interpretation. Cameroon's two official languages, English and French, are among the most widely spoken languages in the world. And the English language is virtually de facto language of global communication and of science and technology in our age. Therefore, the relative mastery of those languages by several Cameroonians is an asset for directly accessing vital knowledge and skill more cheaply and faster, since most of them do not need expensive and time-consuming preparatory language courses. The flourishing of our various indigenous culture has largely contributed to the emergence of a highly lucrative and booming tourist industry. from Cameroonian Grassfield, the sophisticated work of arts of Bamoun and Sudano-Sahelian craftsmen, or the popular Makossa and reconciliators, now from part of our cultural exports. Cameroon's espousement of Judeo-Christian and Islamic values has given it access to the vast wealth of knowledge and skill embedded in these two civilizations. The friendship and tolerance reached by those religions have eased social provision within our country and enabled us to easily liaise and establish solid and fruitful friendship with other great civilizations and culture, such as those of the Far East. Distinguished Cameroonian community leaders in the United States of America, fellow compatriots, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my remarks this evening has been didactic. I have taken time to highlight the roots and the facts of our reunification, because this is seemingly one area of our history and existence that is hardly known or poorly understood by gross of our populace, especially by the younger generation and above all by most of our diaspora. Our existence as a people with a distinct ancestral and cultural identity has been established long before our country experienced the vagaries and vicissitude of arbitrary colonial politics. Our independence and reunification were the culmination point of a long and tireless process by an entire people to reassert and uphold their identity and to build a peaceful and prosperous society whose strength is rooted in its huge sociological diversities. One cannot glance at the dishes placed before us, your highly beautiful and colorful dresses and artifacts, or listen to our oral exchange, or music being played in the disc jockey without experiencing the huge sociological diversity which have become some of our most distinctive and outstanding hallmarks. These national traits are the sources of some of our greatest strength and hence the source of our pride and admiration worldwide. Let me just, before ending my remark, appelés à aller exercer leur devoir civique en votant pour l'élection du prochain président de la République. J'ai lancé cet appel l'année dernière en prélude à ce qui se profile pour bientôt. Je voudrais profiter de l'occasion qui m'est offerte avec votre présence ici pour réitérer cet appel en votre direction pour dire à ceux qui hésiteraient à tort à aller accomplir ce devoir civique, de leur dire que ils n'ont aucune raison d'hésiter. Les listes électorales ont été ouvertes partout au Cameroun depuis le 1er janvier de l'année en cours. Nous avons une liste à la disposition de tous ceux qui souhaiteraient participer à ce devoir collectif de civisme. Cette liste est ouverte ici depuis les premiers jours de janvier. Je voudrais donc à ce titre exhorter tous ceux qui sont en âge de voter de prendre le temps nécessaire pour approcher la mission, et nous aurons une équipe dédiée et en charge de s'assurer que les Camerounais sont inscrits sur les listes électorales.